We're first of all, I have to ask you, Scout. On your Instagram, you were screaming. Why was it an audition or?
Oh my God. Yeah. It was one of those medical shows, which is my nightmare to get all those terms and, it's, yeah, self-taping, auditioning just in general is just like so stressful. So after, an hour and a half of getting the right take, you're just like, oh, I just want a pizza and watch movie and drink a beer.
Just like this. It's as stressful as this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rich, we haven't seen each other for a very long time. I did the junket for Eight-Legged Freaks.
Oh, far out.
And I missed you at Ghost House, and I didn't get to do the Giant Mechanical Man. So that was the last time I saw you.
Oh, well, far out, man. That's great. That was the first time I wrote music for a studio film, actually. That was great.
What a fun movie that was.
Totally fun.
Composing, is that your first love?
Well, it was my first career, and I do love music, and I just kind of, I did it for a very long time, and I generally score everything I do, although I did not score this movie. This was a stressful, this was a slog. And so a friend of mine agreed to score it for me, and she's incredibly talented, Sherry Chung. She did a fantastic job.
Well, the music in a horror film is really it becomes another character in the film.
100%. Yeah.
And we'll continue our music talk with Scout. Do you find rhythms and cadences in the roles that you take on, Scout?
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. I do. I listen to a lot of certain types of music when I'm playing a character. And now all my characters are just like kind of meshed into one playlist now. Now I have all these playlists everywhere. But Rich is definitely something that I've learned from him, because he does take music very serious when it comes to like these genres. I'm about to direct, and so I'm like picking at Rich's brain when it comes to like the music aspect, because that's like the last thing that I think about. But Rich is like, it's the first thing you should think about. So it's kind of nice to get that knowledge.
You and Scout, Rich, have worked together a number of times. Is there a shorthand between you now?
I think so. I mean, that's one of the reasons I like working with Scout, beyond the fact that I just love being with Scout because she's awesome, but is that she is, she's just so solid, and, she's been doing it a long time. She doesn't really require much direction. I mean, she really knows what to do. And if you do want to correct it, she gets it every single time. I mean, it's a dream to work with Scout.
Well, vice versa, Rich, honestly.
It's a dream to work with both of you, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Tony. So amazing working
with you,
Tony.
And then,
this is the apex of my day, actually. But jumping into the director's chair and calling the shots, Scott, a dear friend of mine, I don't know if you know her or not, Beth Riesgraf from, she's on Leverage, and she just started now to direct those shows. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a hair-pulling thing the first time out.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's just strange because, I do a lot of independent movies, and I find myself from even the beginning of it, helping cast it, helping, like, even when we're on the day and the director is like a first timer or whatever, and I'm always like reminding to get this coverage, get that, or changing the dialogue to make more sense. So I've been already doing it. I just haven't been calling these movies mine. So it kind of just fell into my lap that I had the opportunity to do this, and I'm very nervous, but I'm also very excited because I know I'm going to surround myself by people that I can fall on to. What I love so much about movie making is it's a family. We're all doing it together. It's not, me. It's a group effort. And that's what I love about movie making.
I think it has to be. Otherwise, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, exactly.
Rich, of The Long Night is scary as hell. And I've seen a lot of movies over 68 years. And this is creepy as hell, as I said.
Oh, shucks, man. Thank you. Mission accomplished.
There you go. Where did the idea come from? Is it an old legend? Is it just something you kind of fell into?
Well, it's funny. I was actually hired to take over this film. There have been a couple of different directors before me, and for one reason or another, they ended up off the project, and so I came out. And at that point, I think a lot of people had tinkered with the script. It was in real bad shape, and so I hired my friend Rob Shep to rewrite it. And I had a very short window of time, but we ended up sort of like kind of reimagining the movie from the ground up, and so he did a great job with kind of putting this story together and the narrative beats. We had we had to use sort of all the things that were all the vestigial things from that had been prepared, and then I got to indulge in my weird stuff and design these bad guys the way I wanted them to be, and so to answer your question, I mean, like the character design in particular, was kind of this collage of different sort of pagan and world religion, kind of iconography combined with like Eastern European penitence and all that, just like kind of pulling from all these different sources for things that seem familiar, but if you put them all together, will kind of create their own unique kind of thing. So,
Scott, is there a different kind of muscle you use as an actress? From a drama to a horror to a comedy. I mean, obviously there's just different pacing in that, but is it that way for you as well?
It's interesting. The only muscle that's different for me is comedy. I struggle with that so much. Everyone's like, "You're so funny," and I'm like, I can't. It's like a beat. You got to get the beat. You got to it's just like, they're like, just play it straight. When you're play it straight, you're funny. But it's so interesting. Like the darker, the better for me. Like it's like the easier it is for me. I don't know what it is. Obviously, let's not get into my childhood. Maybe that's what it's from. But I don't know. I just like kind of just release so much stuff, and it's something that's deep within me that just like wants to come out, I guess.
I think if you can make a gaffer laugh, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, true, right?
They've seen true. Everything.
Yeah.
And there's nothing funny about their jobs at all. So if you get them to laugh, that's great. Your location, Rich, is just terrific. I mean, was this a difficult shoot that way?
Well, I mean, the thing that was helpful was all centralized. We basically shot, like, with the exception of the sort of the New York stuff and the gas stations stuff, we shot basically on this property. So, it was nice to have a centralized location to work from, and not like when we shot Ghost House in Thailand, we had a company move almost every day. So this was the exact opposite. That said, you're out in the middle of nowhere. We're working with limited resources. So it was very difficult in that regard. But I mean, it had its own set of challenges. I think probably every project does. But
I know it's an interesting question. Like, does it save money to work on one location, or with generators and generators?
Yeah. I mean, I think on a certain level, it definitely does. But then the thing is that it can make your project feel smaller. And I think that was also the big challenge, is like, I didn't want to make a tiny feeling movie. So we tried to use the landscape and as much of the location of the property as we could, just to really make the world feel big, I
always feel like the smaller the location, the better the catering, because you have more money.
We had pretty good catering, actually.
It's really good.
How was the catering in Thailand, by the way, Rick?
Oh, man. I mean, it's hard to beat the food in Thailand, man. That was a great shoot.
Let's go there for the next movie.
Oh, man.
I know. I keep on telling these guys, I'm like, let's go back to Thailand, man. Let's go film something back there. I loved it.
Yeah.
Scott, do you enjoy horror?
I do. I grew up in a mortuary. My dad's a coroner, mortician. I grew up around the dead. I think it was bound to happen.
You're not kidding. Your dad was
No, I'm not kidding. Yeah.
I have an adopted daughter that's a coroner.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. My dad keeps on telling me, he's retired now, but he still has his license, and keeps on telling me that he wants to start a father-daughter business. Maybe I will, who knows? The only thing with like living in the mortuary was like I couldn't handle the loved ones, being there. There's just so much sadness. I was more interested in like, how did that person die? If it was a murder, who did it? Why? What? When? Where? But then you see all the people, upset, and that was just like I couldn't stomach that stuff.
I'm waiting for a forensic show to talk about actors' careers.
Yeah.
How did they die?
Yeah. How do they die?
Lupe Velez story.
Rich, what do you think the audiences are going to take away from this terrific horror film?
Well, I mean, I hope that they like the movie and they have fun watching it, and that it's, I tried to sort of take what at least at first glance was a pretty straight ahead film and add a lot of style and sort of some surreal moments to kind of, I don't want to say, I hate that word elevate, but to kind of, kick it up a notch. And so I hope that, when they watch it, that, those things make it a better film for them, And
your filming style, your directing style is really suited for a large screen. I mean, this film is gorgeous on a big screen.
Yeah, we shot it intentionally to be seen big. We didn't do a lot of these kind of close-ups that are like this. We kept everything wide. We tried to use as much of the location as we could and make it feel expansive. And, because we were trying to, we want people to see it on a big screen if they can.
Scout, you've done so many different things. You've done, television series and guest appearances and movies. Do you have a preference?
I have love for both of them for different reasons. I mean, with TV, it's a little bit more structure. Mm-hmm. There's more of like a home life with TV, but there's also like a scariness with it because with the script, you have a bunch of writers. You can't even get one word different than what is printed. With movie making, it's like I said, it's a group effort, and you're able to collaborate with each other and change things and do things on the fly. Or if that didn't work, well, we're going to try this. With TV, it's a little bit more not so robotic, but kind of. I love them both, but what I probably would like to direct more and is probably movies, independent films, because you don't have so many people saying no in your ear.
And you do a ton of voice work.
I do. Yes, I do.
I hear you once in a while.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. Well, my aunt was June Foray.
Oh, wow.
Was the voice of Rocky the Flying Squirrel. And
yeah. Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I have whenever I talk to somebody that does voice work, I love just talking about that, because that's a kind of acting that really is true acting to me.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I've never done like an animated show or something like that. I actually have something that I might do that's like an animated show, which I've never done before. I've always been interested in doing it, so it's kind of interesting.
I'll make some calls for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Our time is just about up, and I want to thank you both for your time. I wish we could have talked for a half hour on this.
Thank you, Tony.
You guys both have your feet in so many different things. And by the way, I'm going to throw some love out to you, Scott, for honestly, for a great turn as Laurie Strode in the Halloween films that Rob Zombie did.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah, you were just great in that. And I think Jamie Lee even said you were wonderful in it. So.
Oh, great. Oh, so cool.
Yeah, there you go. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. Eat a lot. And hopefully I'll see you. I'll see you on the next one, and I'm following everybody on social media. So congratulations on the long night. It's a great film.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony.
Bye-bye, kids.
Bye.